Hello everyone. Today I want to show you how to create a pad sound on the Korg minilogue XT. We are going to create a very traditional typical pad sound with the long attack and the long release. And then we will try to do the kind of unconventional or special pad sound. So let's get started. First, I'm choosing a init program which give you a initial sound of the saw wave, right? So if you have a look at any of the pad sound design on YouTube, everybody tells you that you kind of want to start with something with the long attack. So it's kind of start the sound from the very low value gradually to the maximum of the value of the sound. And then you might want to also increase the release so that it can, when you release the key, the sound will gradually decrease. So this is kind of like a typical pad sound. Right? And if you don't like the high end, you can also turn off a bit of the cut off frequency. Right? So this is a very traditional pad sound we are creating. But today that's not the purpose. I want to also kind of perform the opposite. Let's forget about the long attack and long release. Let's do a short attack and short release and see if it's possible to create a pad sound as well. Okay, so now I'm creating an init program again. Right, so the goal here is to kind of do the opposite, right? So typically, when you think about pad sound, it might be something begin with the sine wave, right? Like more mild kind of the sound. But today, I'm gonna do the opposite, right? So we choose probably the saw wave, which has a lot of bite, if you like. And we don't want to turn on the attack to a long value. That's boring. So we keep the attack very short, kind of the lead type of the sound, but still how we can make it kind of a pad type. So thinking about this, we may apply an envelope to the cutoff filter so that this, when we press the sound, the high end won't come so quickly. So we kind of want to shape, right? So let's using the envelope to control the cutoff frequency. So we move the cutoff sequence to all the way to the right, and then we kind of turn the envelope intensity to negative, and then use the attack and delay. That doesn't work. Give it a bit more. As you can see, now the sound isn't that sharp anymore, but we didn't directly make it smooth by turn off the cutoff. We keep the cutoff to the very top, the maximum value, and then use the envelope to perform a negative effect envelope on the cutoff. So it's kind of have this kind of pad sound. This is probably better. And we might want to make the sustain a little bit less. Great. And how about the release? Typically, we want to increase the release instantly to create this. Right? But we kind of want to do the opposite, right? We don't want to increase the release, but how we can make the sound a little bit longer even after you release the key. My thinking is that let's try maybe some effects, right? Reverb might be a good option. So let's try reverb. And I'm going to choose maybe space or riser. Right? We will give it a very big value of the reverb, so that even I'm not turning the release to a higher value, we kind of use the reverb to do the same. As you can see, by rethink the way we make the pad sound, the end result could be much different than the typical pad sound. In my opinion, it's much more interesting. Right? And we can apply more dynamic to the sound as well. We haven't used the LFO yet, so let's try that. Typically, you might want to use the sine wave with a very slow rate to control, for example, the shape. How about the shape? Let's turn on the LFO intensity. Right? That's a good dynamic we are creating over time. Okay, what else we can do? So far we're only really using one oscillator. Let's try to use the second oscillator. Maybe give it a more like a low end. Let's choose the sine wave and give it a lower octave and see how it sounds. Sorry, this is the resonance. I want to turn on the mixer so we can hear the second oscillator. Personally, I like to make the pitch a little bit different, so we can create this dynamic. Sounds good. And how about the third oscillator? Can we use a third oscillator as well? Maybe we choose noise. Just a tiny bit of the noise, make the sound a little bit aggressive as well. So one of the advantage we are creating for this type of the pad sound is that you can actually, while you're playing the low end, you can actually improvise on top of that, because we are not relying on a very slow attack. It on the higher range, you can still kind of perform very sharp leap type of the sound on the same patch, right? Interesting. So thank you for your time to watch this video. I hope you learned one or two things today. And if you like this channel, please considering subscribe and like this video. Let me know what you would like to see in the future in this channel. Thank you, everyone.